That's not a comic book. Now that's a comic book.
Hi everyone, welcome to this week's episode of Comic Reviews. I got a kind of a interesting collection today. I only have two single issues in a trade, but man, this first issue. So let's go ahead and start out with Captain America number 7. And that is what a $6 comic book looks like. This thing is dense, and for $6 there are a lot of ads. Like a lot of ads. But there's also quite a bit of story here. So, right away I'm going to start off with a negative. And a spoiler. Though, of course, all these reviews are spoilers. Steve Rogers is Captain America again. You know, this isn't a surprise. This always happens with these legacy characters. Whenever they get to be that character until a movie comes out, or until like a big thing with that character's name comes out. So Dick Grayson gets to be Batman for a while, but then as we get closer to a movie, suddenly Bruce Wayne's Batman again. That was certainly more planned for, but it happened. And that's exactly what happened with Captain America. The funny thing is, though, this like just happened with Captain America before, what was it, the first movie came out? Like, Bucky was Captain America for a while, but then as the first Captain America movie came out, now Steve Rogers is again. So we had 6 awesome issues of Sam Wilson as Captain America, and I think they're gonna do a thing where, like, he's still Captain America. We might have 2 Captain Americas running around. But there was just something to Sam Wilson being Captain America again, being the only Captain America again. Because, like, I feel like it's weird to have a character not, or to have a character be that legacy role when the original role is being filled by the original person again. So it's you can't really have a legacy character if the original character is still kicking around. It just doesn't work. So, prediction, Sam Wilson will be Captain America in name only for a little while before they just go back to having him be the Falcon. And that's disappointing. I really liked what they were doing with Sam. And they do certainly indicate that he is just as much Captain America as Steve and Bucky were. There's this great line. Here's the thing. We may have our differences, and we certainly have our agendas, but in the end, we're friends. More than that, we're brothers. There's a connection that comes with wielding the shield, a tie that binds us. We're all Captain America. So, I don't know. That bugs me. This is an Alex Ross cover? Wow. Yeah, I should have known. That just, like, I like that moment. That's a good moment. That's really interesting stuff. But I don't know. I was getting into Sam Wilson, and I certainly knew getting into it that he would not be Captain America forever. But 6 issues? 1 story arc. Literally 1 story arc is all he's getting, as you know, Captain America in this new Captain America book. It's a little cheap. And it was just interesting to see him be at odds with Steve Rogers and stuff. That was a neat dynamic, and I'm sad they're abandoning it, or they're going to abandon it so early on. What can you do? How's the story itself, though? Sam Wilson has some story in here. It's mostly just him and Bucky teaming up and dealing with this whole situation of that shield, this whole shitbag shield started off. So he and Bucky team up and are fighting their way toward Cap. And then in the majority of the book goes to Steve Rogers, Captain America. And he is dealing with being old and dealing with this cosmic reality bending character and stuff, and That's the MacGuffin for how he gets to be Captain America again, is or like young and able to be Captain America again, is he's nice to a sentient cosmic cube, a cosmic cube with a psyche, as they call it. He's nice to that character, and she takes pity on him as he's about to die. And there's a really beautiful Captain America accepting death situation. She takes pity on him as he's about to die and changes reality so that he can be young and strong again. And really, that's fine. I don't have any problem with how that happened. But again, it's just disappointment. I don't have any problem that they did it. I'm just disappointed that they did it so soon. If that makes any sense to anybody. So, I like the story, and it's all fairly well handled, all things considered. But it's just like, just kind of disappointed in the story itself. And that's all I can really say about it. For such a long book, that's all I can really say about the main story. Is it's good. It's just disappointing that we're getting here so quickly. But on the plus side, we have 3 backups. 3 little mini backup stories. Just real quick, this 2-page spread is beautiful, and that's the moment where Captain America accepts death, and that is absolutely gorgeous. But anyway, so we get some backup stories here. I'm not gonna read Standoff. No interest. So we get 3 stories: Presentation, Catch Me If You Can, and Pasty Doo. Standoff, written by Joss Whedon. And it's just a really simple story of Captain America being in a meeting with some PR guys talking about image and marketing and killing us. What's the word they use? Where's the damn word? Come on, Ian. God, I gotta, start marking my things. Get the message across. Iconography is the term they use. The Germans have fantastic propaganda and iconography, and they're destroying the Americans on that front of the war because they get the message of "we will win" across. And so they want Captain America to sport the Amerigun. And it looks really stupid. It's meant to just look outrageously stupid. Like, this is... Even the 90s would consider that dumb. But Steve Rogers doesn't want to use a gun or anything. Or doesn't want to, trade the shield for a gun to show his... to improve his imagery. The shield is important. They don't come to... They don't get into the war as conquerors or assaulters. They get in there to protect freedom and stuff, is all what the shield is about. And that's always one of the most fascinating things about Captain America, is that his main offensive weapon is a weapon of self-defense. I really, really like that. And then there's actually a really funny line. Who cares? Who carries a shield? Or, hold on. We didn't even get to the research we did with unmarried women. Who carries a shield? Savages. Well, knights. Knights are British. The American was a winner. Freedom, victory, fertility. Right, the message, ours is bigger. A shield? What does that even mean? I like that. That's a nice little message. Joss Whedon writes a really good Captain America. I really like his Captain America. now we get to a Tim Sale story that's almost all art, and it's just him, breaking into a Hydra facility and taking something. Not sure what. He steals something. Oh! Okay. He steals a gift that his father left for him when he passed. And that is an autographed Babe Ruth baseball. So I like that. He breaks into a Hydra facility and steals back something that was stolen from him. And then the third story is about like a sting operation for an attempted assassination of a Latvian ballerina that defected to the United States. And it's Natasha. It's mainly just a conversation between Natasha and Steve about whether or not ballet is art or if it's just pompous stuff. Just pompous. Oh, we're so much better than everyone else. And then Steve gets there and he's like, I'm not going to like this. And the curtains open and it's Natasha that has taken the place of the ballerina to be assassinated. And she tells him where to go to take out the assassins. And he does. And then there's a neat little conversation at the end. I get it. I thought you might. You dance the way you fight. No, I fight the way I dance. That's why they taught me ballet in the first place. So some fun little backup issues. I don't know. I like a lot about this, but I'm just disappointed in the overall story in a big way. And this cover doesn't make any sense. I love Alex Ross. There's way too much shit on this cover, but I love Alex Ross. I don't think that's his fault. That's just... It's Sam Wilson punching Steve Rogers, and that's not even kind of what happens here. So not only is it disappointing, but the cover is very misleading, because that's not even remotely what happens. So let's go ahead and move on. I'm going to start trying to do that between each book. I hope you don't mind. Star Wars Darth Vader number 18. 15. Where did I get 15 from? So the war rages on in this ore-rich planet. The war rages on for the ore. The war rages on for the ore. There you go. There's the theme song for this story arc. They get kind of stuck, and there's subterfuge, as there always is in this book. But the thing I found most interesting, well, twofold. So Darth Vader takes these, cyborg Force twins, and they're gonna go, on a secret mission to, relay a message, basically. And, suddenly they turn and they try to attack him since they're alone. And he easily blocks them and throws them off. And they go, I can't believe you trusted us. And he goes, if I trusted you, I'd have left you at the siege. Instead, I tested your character. You failed. And then so we're gonna have a cool fight between them next issue. And they've been the new blood that have been kicking around on him, and it's like, these are your replacements, Darth Vader, kind of thing. But there was more interesting subplot in here of something 000 was going on about. So Vader's troops are pinned down, and they're going to need reinforcements and all this stuff. And they're running out of options. And then 000 comes in. Lord Vader, in this difficult hour, I may have a useful suggestion. 000, this would be a poor time to jest. No, Lord Vader, rest assured, I am quite serious. Then speak. Consider the humble droid, Lord Vader, and its many admirable attributes. We are less fragile than organics, we are quicker, we are mass-produced with ease, so why do droids not rule? The problem. The Force is indifferent to us. True, droids are dead to the Force. It flows through all life. It guides us. The living are alive. Droids are not. So what? Life. Abstract nonsense. It's not that we do not have life, it's that we do not have blood. We drain human blood and use it to drive an engine of my own design. I have the technology, and it's a relatively simple battlefield modification, plus ingenious extra features. They can refuel on the battlefield from injured opponents or generous allies by inserting a probe into an artery to... No, is Vader's response. Think of it, a droid more man than machine. You regret pressing this droid. That's an interesting parallel to Vader, because he is more machine than man. And there's this whole thing about, well, the Force is in your blood, and that's still weird. I might make a rant video about how you can get around the whole stupidity of midichlorians. But anyway. I don't know, I found that to be an interesting dynamic, and I'm curious where he goes with that. 000 is just, you know, evil C-3PO, and it's been fun to read him. There's not much else to say about this. There's political subterfuge, it's like Game of Thronesy. So if you don't like politics or kind of like spy, you know, no one can trust anybody stuff, this probably isn't for you. If you just wanted, you know, Vader assassinating people left and right, that's not what this book is. It's more of a slow driving plot that builds over time. So take that how you will. I've been really enjoying it though. Good stuff overall. Yeah. Alright, so that's going to do it for the single issues this week. Let's go ahead and go on to Arkham Manor. Batman Arkham Manor. So, I've heard nothing good ever about Batman Eternal. But I feel like it would have helped to at least know what was going on in that. Because most of my problems about this is it is very heavily dependent on the events of Batman Eternal. Like, I looked it up after the fact to try to figure out what the hell was going on in this. Basically, somewhere along the line in Batman Eternal, Arkham Asylum got blown the fuck up. And I'm assuming in Batman Eternal, I couldn't find confirmation on this, but I'm assuming that Bruce Wayne lost all of his money in there. I really don't know, because Scott Snyder's kind of just been doing his own thing with Batman at this point and not really seemingly paying any attention whatsoever to what other people are doing. And if those things are just as bad as his, then I guess that's fine. Seemingly not paying any attention to what anyone else is doing, so I got no impression at any point that Bruce Wayne was not living the high life. Like, I know there was mention of Wayne Manor being turned into Arkham Manor, right between Endgame and Super Heavy, but hell if I know how that happened, because that was not the impression I got at all during Endgame. But whatever. Was there like a time gap? You know what? I don't even want to think about it, because it's just all awful. So anyway, Arkham Manor, though, once I get over that, once I just accept those as conceits, that Bruce Wayne has gone bankrupt, and that Arkham Asylum got blown up, and that one, that's much easier to accept. I actually quite enjoyed this. This was actually a lot of fun, really interesting, and it added something to the Batman mythos, as it were, that hasn't really been around before, and I like that. It's kind of vaguely in Batman the Animated Series, but not significantly. What's the name of the character that they give him? Jack Shaw. They add the character Jack Shaw to this, and Jack Shaw, not an independent character, but a disguise, a persona for Bruce Wayne. So there's... Let me get to the reasoning behind this character. So, the city decides to put the new Arkham Asylum in Wayne Manor, since it's, you know, legal bullshit comic books. But Wayne Manor is turned over to the state, and the state decides to make that the new Arkham Asylum, in order to, secure the prisoners, as it were. As the renovations are completed, and patients start moving in, there's suddenly a murder. And Batman's not sure who it is. He thinks it's Zsasz, since he's the only prisoner not accounted for. But he needs to be able to be in Arkham in order to solve the case. So he has himself committed under the assumed identity of Jack Shaw. And it's Bruce Wayne with a mustache. Clark Kent's glasses looking a whole lot less stupid now, aren't they? To be fair, this area is one of the only things that the Batman's villains are familiar with when it comes to his face. But you'd think people would be able to recognize Bruce Wayne with a mustache. I know I might look a little younger if I were to shave my face, particularly my fine mustache. But I find it hard to imagine that people just flat out wouldn't recognize me. But maybe. I don't know. So, anyway, the strangeness of that aside, Bruce Wayne assumes the identity of Jack Shaw and enters himself into Arkham. And it's an identity... Okay, and he has a gold tooth. It's an identity that I actually like the idea behind. Because he talks about... oh, come on. Come on, where's that? I know it's in narration. I'm sorry, just give me a second. I need to warn the staff. Okay, here we go. The Matches Malone persona is invaluable for studying the gangs of Gotham. A mask to study the inmates of Arkham was long overdue. If this is who... yeah. I like that. That's a good point. After the group session, Jack Shaw has occupational therapy, and that means cheap labor for Arkham. And he's paying his house. I have to admit, I'm enjoying my stay much more than I thought I would. The Matches Malone persona is invaluable for studying the gangs of Gotham. A mask to study the inmates of Arkham was long overdue. I like that idea. Just that Batman would have a Matches Malone for being inside of Arkham. That's smart stuff. That's well written. That's clever. And I think, hopefully this maintains as a part of the Batman mythos. I would like to see that return for when something Arkham related comes up for Batman to put himself in there. Not only because it's a good device for storytelling, mustache aside, but also because that's actually reasonably clever. From a thematic point of view. Jack Shaw being Batman, being Bruce Wayne, putting Batman, or having Batman commit himself, essentially, to Arkham Asylum, I find really, really fascinating. There's Arkham Asylum, I am an absolute sucker for. If Arkham plays prominently into your story, I will buy it. Just because I really, really like stuff with Arkham Asylum. And so, Batman committing himself and really exploring the theme of Batman's just one of these people that he's fighting. He's just made better life decisions, or he's just on the right side of the law, is a really fascinating idea. And that's what we're dealing with here. Batman is putting himself in there, and it's making him realize that these aren't monsters, that some of these people really are sick. I like that. It's unfortunate that Scott Snyder was doing his bullcrap with the Joker. I will never apologize for thinking Endgame is a pile of garbage. It's a shame that Joker only appears briefly in this story and not as the Joker proper, so it's whatever. I don't care anymore. I don't have the patience to deal with Endgame, or honestly, I give it too much credit because I shouldn't even bother thinking about Endgame, as awful as it is. Anyway, where was I? God damn it, Scott Snyder, why do you have to be such a... Why did your awful Batman writing always have to distract me from good stuff? You know, we did that Joker's Last Laugh episode, and, like, you know, we were kind of stretching for time there, and then we just kind of got on to Endgame, and then we went over the time that I needed. Because I just needed to rant about how much I hated Endgame. So anyway, so Batman, Arkham Asylum. Yeah, just Batman being in Arkham Asylum, being around the inmates, and kind of having the realization, yeah, these aren't good people or anything that have had bad decisions, but they're not monsters. They're just legitimately sick. I like that. And seeing how the inmates are treated, it humanizes Batman more, and it makes Batman relate to the people he's sentencing to Arkham more. And I like that. That's good stuff. And there's some really interesting stuff about if Jeremiah Arkham's even sane in this. Some of the art I find a little weird. It varies from issue to issue how much I like it. But there are times, and I just found a panel here that's a pretty good example, where I feel like people are out of proportion or just in really awkward poses that don't quite look human. I don't know, you tell me. Is it just me, or does Batman look like he's doing like a Russian dance? What do they call that when they... what's it called? When they do like this thing. Hey, 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 hey. And like, I guess that's a position a human could be in, and maybe that would give you a nice strong kick, but at the same time, I don't think that that's like the position he needs to be in to kick out a wall. It looks really awkward. Yeah, I don't know. You guys can judge my dancing if you'd like in the comments below. Now, the thing that... I'm not really going to get into the plot. There's, Batman solves the murder and stuff. And we get, like, a new villain, maybe. Probably not. Like, these guys never last. There's always, like, this thing with Batman that people bring up this criticism of, oh, well, he should just be killing these people because whenever he locks them away in Arkham, they just get out again. And so it's morally wrong for Batman to leave them alive. Not true. The popular ones continue to get out. If you want Batman to be right, if you want Batman to be a successful hero that is doing the right thing, quit buying comic books when Joker, Riddler, Two-Face, Killer Croc, Mr. Freeze, Bane, Poison Ivy, Harley Quinn, I don't know, Scarecrow, fucking all of them. Quit buying comics where they break out of Arkham Asylum and are the villain. If you don't want that to keep happening, just quit buying those. And then they will be forced to introduce new villains. Now, if you're like me, you like stories with those characters. So you're going to continue buying them. So don't worry about it. Truthfully, it is entirely an economic thing that the writers try their best to give it a story justification. And it's just something that we have to accept. We have to detach from reality. We have to suspend our disbelief to some extent. And that's just the way it is. But my overall argument is it's only the popular ones that keep getting out. Because I don't know about you, but I've only ever read one story with Crash and Burn. You don't know who they are? It's because Batman captured them in the single issue of comic books that they ever showed up in and put them in Arkham. And apparently it worked, because they've stayed locked up. They've not gotten out again, to the best of my knowledge, and possibly they were rehabilitated and released into society to live as productive citizens. There, that's my entire argument. Have you ever heard of these villains? They were introduced as villains. They were committed to Arkham Asylum. They did not escape. They may have just been released, and we never heard anything about it. So there you go. Black Mask I'll add to my list from earlier. So yeah, this guy, this Killer in the Walls, he's a new character. He was introduced just for this, and he's interesting. But yeah, he's got absolutely nothing to do with. I highly doubt we'll ever see him again, unless Gary Duggan writes Batman again in the near future. And he might, who knows. Now, the other thing I absolutely adored was Mr. Freeze in this. Joker does have a brief appearance, and there's like a remnant of Clayface. You remember that episode of Batman the Animated Series where it was like a girl? Kind of like that, I guess. There's a remnant of Clayface left in the asylum. Joker comes in briefly, toys around with it to create Clownface, and lets it loose in the asylum, so they have to, deal with this problem. And it's really, really cool, because Jack Shaw Batman runs to the cooler, the fridge, walk-in freezer that they have retrofitted to put Mr. Freeze into, which is, it's pretty clever. And so he breaks open the door, and Mr. Freeze is sitting there eating an ice cream cone. And Mr. Freeze is probably my favorite thing in this book. So Jack Shaw goes, "Clayface is killing people. You can stop him. Why should I risk my neck? Because I broke the lock on your door, and now you have nowhere safe to hide." Very persuasive. And then, "That wasn't any Clayface I recognized. I only want to shut it down so I can give myself a fence." Oh, agreed. He was Jokerized with toxin. I'll have to run tests when I can. I only want to shut it down so I can give myself a fence parole out of here. Oh, so you can escape. There's only and so Freeze starts investigating. There's only a small amount of liquid nitrogen in my environmental unit. We'll only have enough for one shot. Doesn't look very portable. You'll have to lure it this way. So Batman lures Clayface to the freezer. And he gets, Jeremiah Arkham along the way. And they get there. Batman goes, "Damn it, Freeze." And then, the fridge door opens and Freeze comes out holding his ice cream cone again. He's like, "Sorry, no sense wasting ice cream while we wait to die." And then Clownface breaks in a bit closer. "Over here, you ugly," and Jack Shaw gets attacked, and Freeze hits him with liquid nitrogen and then breaks Jack Shaw out. They break Clayface and throw him in the freezer where he'll stay immobilized. Batman punches Jeremiah Arkham in the face and runs to escape. As he and Freeze leave Arkham, "Nice working with you. We'll have a better chance of escaping if we split up, so don't follow me." And Freeze goes, "I'm not leaving." "Why?" Freeze just falls down in the snow, starts making a snow angel. "Because I have nowhere to go." He just starts making a snow angel. That's awesome. And then as it continues, and so Jack Shaw escapes in order for Batman to show up, and he makes sure to leave the Jack Shaw identity kind of out there so that he can come back and raise hell in the future. So anyway, Batman goes and busts the murderer, blah, 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 blah. Harvey Bullock shows up later. And there is an interesting dynamic. as Batman's fighting the guy who's been hiding in the walls and killing inmates. He's finished. He knows it. He knows it. I know it. I decide to make an example out of him. I'll show the Arkham patients that their safety is important too. Now they know that I'll risk my life for them too. Men like this will never be tolerated, especially not in my house. As Batman flies down. I really like that. And the guy bites his tongue off, so now we have a mute Batman villain. And like as all that happened out in the woods in front of the house, the guy bites his tongue off, and then Mr. Freeze just comes out. He goes, "He's going to fit right in here, just fine. Nobody asked you, Victor." I really like Mr. Freeze in this. He's so well written. So Batman's leaving, and he's telling Arkham what to do about the new patient and stuff. And as he's leaving, Freeze throws a snowball at the back windshield of the Batmobile, and Batman goes, "The manor became too warm for Mr. Freeze after his cell was damaged. Victor's out on good behavior. Hand him a shovel and put him to work." And then he just like peels out and kicks a bunch of snow up over Mr. Freeze, which is great. And then Harvey Bullock shows back up at the asylum because they needed to show him Clayface. And Mr. Freeze is just chilling out in the front yard grilling. Oof. That thing is all yours. Where do you want me to take it? I don't care, but it's impossible for me to make progress with the mentally ill humans when you lock them away with monsters. Then Mr. Freeze grilling. Ooh, my ears are burning. What the hell is he doing out? Enjoying the privileges that come with good behavior. Now please help me help them. Yeah, okay, I'll get Star Labs out here to collect whatever that thing is. And yeah, it's just, I just really like Mr. Freeze just being kind of a cheeky bastard. And, Batman settles two subplots, and then we get one last shot of Arkham Manor as Mr. Freeze has moved his cell outside in an igloo. That's fun. That's just a really cool story. I know I've summarized all the good Mr. Freeze stuff, but this is like the best Mr. Freeze we've seen in a long time. I just really like that. That was really fun. I'm really happy to add this to my collection of Arkham books, because I've got, Arkham Asylum, Serious House on Serious Earth, Arkham Asylum Living Hell, Arkham Asylum Madness. Obviously Arkham Asylum Serious House, Serious Earth is hands down the best, no contest. I'd probably put this at number 2. I like a lot of things about Living Hell. Living Hell at points may be better than this, but it has a really sharp drop at the end of the story, and so that really bugs me, and it doesn't ruin. It doesn't ruin Living Hell, but it certainly damages it. This is consistently good all the way through. My biggest complaint is a silly, stupid, minor comic book thing, and that is that Batman's able to disguise himself with just a mustache. Because he's still got black hair, black mustache, so matches Malone's. Usually, changes the hair color, puts on glasses. It's just that the Jack Shaw disguise is so silly. Oh, and I mean, obviously the thing that is so grounded in the canon of the time. The other thing that's really, really, really weird is, and I have no idea what the explanation for this one is. When Batman goes back to the cave and he kind of circles around to go under the mansion, basically. I just really like that the Bat Cave is under Wayne Manor now, or under Arkham Asylum now. That's really fun to me. So anyway, so when he goes back to the cave, damn it, I skipped it. It's like 2 pages. Where'd it go? Okay, yeah. So he goes back to the cave, and apparently he was just keeping Hush prisoner in the Batcave. I didn't know that at all. It's a really weird one to me. Why? Like, I get that Hush knows Bruce Wayne is Batman still. But why do you have to keep him in the Batcave? There aren't any other, private prisons that these superheroes have. Like, I have to believe that there's, like, a special prison location for, we can't put this guy with everyone else because he'll stir him up or he knows too much kind of thing. You couldn't put him in one of those. He has to be in the Batcave. Not that it's not a well-written scene. It's just, this really, really needs a catch-up page. Like, you get a little something in the back, but you really, really need something, like, either to take part of that scene out, or you just really, really need a catch-up page for whatever the hell is going on with Batman Eternal. But yeah, I really do like this. I would put it right under Arkham Asylum, Living Hell, or right under Arkham Asylum, Serious House, and right above Living Hell. So the order goes Serious House, Manor, Living Hell, Madness. There are things I like about Madness, but it's just it's such a weak story. But yeah, good stuff overall. I was really quite pleased with this. I love and Arkham Reborn. Where would I put Serious House, Reborn, Manor, Living Hell, Madness. So yeah, I really like Arkham stories. They're probably my favorite thing for Batman stories. So yeah, good stuff. Hope everyone enjoyed this episode of comic reviews. If you have any suggestions for comic books coming out month to month that you would like me to pick up, please leave those in the comments below. I promise to pick up at least one issue, and if I like it well enough, I will add it to my pull list. Black Panther is coming out soon, and that's going on my pull list. Or if you have any suggestions for graphic novels or trade paperbacks that I should keep an eye out for, please leave those in the comments below as well, and I will keep my eyes open, and if I see one, I will pick it up and review it here on this show for you. Or if you would like to send me graphic novels or trades to review, please get in touch with me in the comments or something, and we'll discuss setting that up, because I'm open to doing that too. Alright everyone, thank you very much for listening, or watching. Sorry, I'm used to podcasting. Thanks very much for watching. Until next time.